In the next round of budget cuts in the Super Congress, if they do nothing at all, if they have no agreement, it'll be half in non-defense spending cuts and half in defense spending cuts. They will definitely have an agreement. The defense lobby is so strong in this country, there's no way they're going to let them cut $600 billion from defense. So what they're going to do is they're going to put all the pressure for most of that money to come from entitlement spending. And the guy who's going to help them is Joe Lieberman, the guy who used to call himself a Democrat. He's got a great idea. Watch this.
Bottom line, we can't protect these entitlements and also have the national defense we need to protect us in a dangerous world while we're at war against the Islamist extremists who attacked us on 9/11 and will be for a long time.
I get questions all the time about Social Security. In fact, I got emails from two of you today on this issue. That was Rudy and Dave. Thank you for writing in, guys. And they both asked roughly the same thing. How can Social Security have a $2.5 trillion surplus, and yet everyone says it's just a bunch of IOUs? Well, that's a great question, so here's the answer. Of course, you pay into Social Security throughout your whole life through the payroll tax. And for a long time, we collected more payroll tax than we had to pay out in benefits. So we built up a Social Security surplus, and that's what we have now, $2.5 trillion surplus. But here's the part they never tell you about. They took that money out of Social Security and spent it on the rest of the budget. So that surplus was spent on wars, tax cuts, etc. Now, they still owe you that money, like they owe China the money we borrowed from them to run our government in the short run. But when they go to pay your benefits in any given year, they have more trouble because they already spent the money.
There is no surplus in there. It's a bunch of IOUs.
Okay, that's what I wanted to actually get at.
Listen, $2.5 trillion of IOUs.
Now, since they don't want to pay you back what they owe you, politicians in Washington are talking about how Social Security is in dire straits. It's totally not true. They're just in a panic over how to pay back that surplus that they already spent on other priorities.
So just who is Tom Brokaw? Tom Brokaw spent a lot of years. I mean, he knows a lot about America because he spent a lot of time flying over it in his jet. Let's be honest, right? So here he is talking about. This is a couple years ago. Here he is talking about Social Security and Medicare. And you ready? Here's his big idea. First of all, there's no problem with Social Security. Social Security has a $2.something trillion surplus. But they always want to cut Social Security. Why? Because they want to take that money and give it to their freaking criminal friends. That's why. They don't want to tax the billionaires. They want to take your Social Security. That's why they always want to cut Social Security. Social Security's solvent for decades. So here's what he had to say about it. Ready? Here's our America's number one newsman.
A lot of people, my generation, are saying it's crazy that we have retirement at the age that we do. We can move that up, for example.
Who's saying that? Who is saying that?
A lot of people, my generation, are saying it's crazy that we have retirement at the age that we do. We can move that up, for example.
A lot of people of his generation. You mean like bricklayers and truck drivers and construction workers? Or do you mean the ascot-wearing millionaires that you hang out with in TV green rooms? When you say a lot of people of your generation.
Or do you mean people that are already retired?
People that are already retired?
People that are retired that are like, everyone else could work longer.
Yeah, they should work longer. Hey, how are we going to get out of this big hole unless we push a bunch of old people in it? That's our number one journalist. That's who he is. His big idea is austerity. To take the money for wars out of the pensions of old people. That's his big idea. Make them work longer. Make people. Yeah. You know what I would like? Because I'd like a 73-year-old fireman coming to get me out of my burning house. I'd like a 69-year-old cop or a truck driver or a bricklayer.
I love 80-year-old waitresses.
Oh, there's nothing that makes my meal go down better than when I see a 71-year-old waitress with a goiter. Is there anything else? I mean, it's great, right, Tom? We should have 70-year-old waitresses, maybe, or 70-year-old dishwashers, or 70-year-old cab drivers. Maybe what else, Tom? People, not only did he say we should move it up, he said it's.
A lot of people, my generation, are saying it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy that people retire at 65 years old. That's our number. That's who Tom Brokaw is, just so you know. So he's an out-of-touch knuckle.